Alright, so I know I've been loving to talk about super modern vehicles that can be added to War Thunder. So this time I'm going to talk about vehicles that can already be added. Not only can these already fit the meta, they are also now top tier and a mystery why they haven't been added. I'll just go do one vehicle per tree and let me know if you want me to do tanks in the next video. The F-86H is the production version of the gun valve program that the F-86F2 participated in. 473 were built in 3 blocks, the F-86H1, F-86H5, and F-86H10. While it retained the same engines as the F-86F2s, it was also fitted with a low-altitude bombing system and nuclear weapon capabilities. While nuclear weapon capabilities are obviously out of the question, the fact that we have the 680 F-86F refits instead of the actual production variant puts into question why the F-86H hasn't made it in some fashion since the F-86F2 was added. If we only started having Gen 2 aircraft right now, the F-86F2 would be an event vehicle, and the F-86H would be the tech tree variant. But either way, I think they're the same in so many ways, and the ways that they are different don't make a difference in War Thunder, as slabs isn't implemented in aircraft that have it, like the A4B. Hypothetically, if this were to be added, it would be folded with the F2 and occupy the same battle rating. But I'll take this as a chance to segue and say that maybe this could be an F2 Sabre that didn't cost 19,000 Silver Lions to repair. We already have the Tanque Argentino Mediano in 3 variants. Why shouldn't we have Kurt Tank's jet fighter? It used the Rolls-Royce Neen turbojet that of the Seahawk and Attacker and sported 420mm Hispano-Suiza HS-404 guns, presumably the Mark V variant. Having a top speed of 1,080 km per hour, it's a good competitor to stuff like the Batu Gun and the F9F at 8.0 or 8.3. With this being the only original Argentine aircraft with a connection to Germany, I think it should be an event or premium as a set aid the players who want the Huckabane in-game. For the IAE-27 Pulqui designed by Emile de Waitin, it could be a French premium or event vehicle, however that's not what I had in mind for them. We'll talk about the French later. I know, we're annoyed with afterburning bombers, but hear me out. Only the second prototype was fitted with the Lyulka Ace AL-7F afterburning turbojet, so Gaijin could just add the first prototype. It had a top speed of 1,150 km per hour for the non-afterburning variant, and 1,250 km per hour for the afterburning prototype. It was fitted with a twin 23mm in the rear like the Tu-14T and 23mm in the port forward fuselage. It could carry up to 3,000 kg normal or 5,000 kg overload. It'd be nice to have an interim addition to the Beagle before we head straight to the IL-102, and I believe this would do nice at 8.3 with beside the Canberra and the B-57. I was debating whether the Canadair Sabre F4 or the CAC Sabre were the candidates, but since those were just Sabre variants, I just decided to go with the Folland Gnat F.1. A dinky little trainer, the F1 was fitted with 2x 8 and 30mm cannons and provisions for rockets and bombs. At a top speed of 1,119 km per hour, using the Bristol Orpheus engine, I believe this could be at 8.7 or 8.3 as the British Sagittario analog. It would also give British tankers at least a leg up with ground attackers at that BR, as the Seahawk FGA-7 seems lacking in that department. The only issue would be that the RAF never actually used the fighter variant, as these were exports to Finland, India, and Yugoslavia. But if we can have the Vickers Mark I without the British Army using it, I think we can let the Gnat slide. The weird thing about the MiG-17 in the Chinese tree is that it's designated the J4, and the wiki says that the theory the game follows is that the J4 are the Soviet-built MiG-17As, while the F5 Premium is the Chinese-built MiG-17F with afterburning engines. Either way, the J5A is a J5 made to MiG-17 PF standards, which means it had the Walpen WP5 afterburning engine and radar capability. This also removed the 37mm gun and replaced it with a third 23mm gun, for a total of 240 23mm rounds. As it stands, the PL-2 seems like a North Korea-only modification, and thus the J5A will not have access to it. I recommend putting it at 9.3, same as Shenyang F5 if it ever gets into the tree. The Fuji T-1 is the best candidate for a 7.0 post-war Japanese fighter to supplant the post-war ground vehicles. If you're pretty annoyed that your choices are either R2-Y2s and Kikas to pair with your M47 and STB-1, then the Fuji T-1 is for you. Armed with a single 12.7mm on the nose, but with fittings for bombs and 12.7mm gun pods, it's a perfect light cast aircraft for Japan at low tier. Also, the fitting for the AIM-9s are muddy, so in the spirit of 7.0, 7.3, we're not having the AIM-9 fitted. The Aerfer Ariete is essentially a redesigned Sagittaria II to make it even more viable. The difference was the addition of a second engine, the Rolls-Royce Soar engine, and a retractable dorsal intake for extra power when climbing. Aside from that, the aircraft was mostly the same design. I can see it at the same BR as the Sagittaria II if it retained the same flight performance with the extra engine attached. Do not be fooled. While it is pre-production, two of these pre-production aircraft were fitted with the Aerfer 101 F-12 afterburning turbojet engine while retaining the same 30mm guns and ammunition in loadout stocks. These same pre-productions were also fitted with the Aerfer 101 G2 engines, which would carry over to a Mystere IV example until both projects were cancelled in favor of the Super Mystere. Tier 5 French fighters are a bit lackluster, but I think these afterburning jets would do well at 8.7 or 9.0. The Super Mystere will have to be moved up, which I don't think will happen. The J34 is a Swedish designation for the Hunter F4. Sweden received 120 of these aircraft between 1955 and 1969 and served alongside the J32B. The J34 was also fitted with two RB-24s, or the Swedish AIM-9B sidewinders. Though it proved no fittings for ground ordnance, it is inferior to the J32B in that aspect, as well as in engine and missile armament. As such, it would do well at 9.3. So that was 9 aircraft that should already be in War Thunder. I know that Gaijin is putting these aircraft in their pocket to future-proof the game, hence we haven't seen them yet. Personally, I'd like to see the L-39ZA Albatros in some form someday, maybe under Italy as a Romanian aircraft. We'll continue with the How to Implement series real soon, when I complete the documents I need for the next vehicle. As always, this is the Dr. MD. Thank you for watching.